Okay. Welcome to Pokkén Tournament DX. I am SonicNKnux, and I'm going to try to show you guys how to play Pikachu Libre today. Okay, I will try my best.
When you want to sit down and really learn how to
we're going to ignore her. We're going to go to practice. Okay. In the practice menu, you have this thing called free training, and that's what we want. Okay. So you're going to notice upon playing this game that there are two Pikachu. This is Pikachu Libre, who we will be playing as. And then there's also regular Pikachu. These are not the same. For one, Pikachu Libre is a female Pikachu. You notice her tail. She is the cosplay Pikachu from the Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire games. This is basic Pikachu. We see plenty of him all over the place. They are two different Pikachu. They do two different things. Pikachu Libre is a speed type character. Regular Pikachu is a standard type character. Honestly, I think Pikachu Libre is a little bit harder to get accustomed to than regular Pikachu. Regular Pikachu is geared to be used by everybody. You know, anybody that wants to learn the game can easily pick up Pikachu and learn how to play with Pikachu. We're going to go to the training gym because the training gym is Pikachu Libre's personal stage. There are two versions of this. One is Pikachu Libre's, as you see. One is Machamp's, and Machamp's is a different color. So I'll try to get the Pikachu Libre one because unfortunately you cannot pick which stage you're gonna get. Okay, so we are here in the speed gym. I had to enter and exit this stage like 10 times, 10 or 12 times in order to get this. It kept going to the power gym. First, I'll just talk about the stage very quickly. This stage has two variants. The speed gym is Pikachu Libre's version of it. If you look toward the top of the screen, you can see two Pikachu Libre statues, and a little bit further up, well, you don't see it, but there'll be a little Pikachu Libre sign that will appear. Let's see. I'll take a quick look around the gym. If you play this game online, you'll recognize this stage. This is the waiting area before you actually get a match. This is the daytime version of the stage. The Machamp version of the stage is the nighttime version of the stage. That's what the other side of the stage looks like, as best as I can show it. Now, about Pikachu Libre. So, the community hates Pikachu Libre. Community hates her. And I think after this guide is done, you'll learn all about why. I'll tell you about two things that I guess I had to pay attention to when I was playing this character. One is her quick attack, not quick attack. This is double team. The follow-up attack is quick attack. Okay, this is what you can use to confound your opponents because she has different options that she can do out of this move. And it works. It does different. It looks like that in field phase, and in dual phase, it looks a little different. And if you use this in conjunction with some of her aerial abilities, you'll be able to really confuse your opponents and make them mad and make them disconnect. Okay. The other deal, which is much more important, this is like a Pikachu Libre playstyle thing, is that any of her special attacks and her grabs, at least in field phase, her grabs will do it. Okay, now if you notice through the animation, she gave herself a blue electrified aura. Okay, any of her special attacks will also give her this aura. Okay, so I'm just gonna show what all of her little attacks do. There's that. We're gonna do double team into quick attack. That also gives her the aura. This is her aerial special. This also gives her the aura. Okay, this aura is a 10-second electrified aura. It powers up all of your special attacks for 10 seconds. Okay, so for 10 seconds, you want to go, maybe not exactly go nuts. I mean, at low level, you can go nuts, but you really want to make sure that you capitalize and use your special attacks during that 10-second window. Okay, if you manage to get a phase shift while this blue aura is up, okay, you will refresh the blue aura for another 10 seconds. If your blue aura is active when you cause the phase shift, you will also gain a 4-second attack buff. Okay, that's it. If you cause more phase shifts while the attack buff is up, you won't get any additional attack buffs. It'll just refresh that same 4-second attack buff over and over and over and over and over. Okay, let me see. I think there is also a defense buff that she can get if she bounces off the wall, that's a defense buff. But I'll talk about that later. But the Pikachu Libre playstyle is you want to cause phase shifts on phase shifts on phase shifts. Okay, and you want to use your combos. Okay, you want to use your combos and set up your opponent for more phase shifts. Okay, the more phase shifts you do, the longer you can keep this buff up. Oftentimes, it's better to just get that phase shift through your special attack than it is to even worry about trying to melee your opponent, okay, in whatever phase. Okay, you want the phase shifts. Now, Pikachu Libre is a speed type character, and as Pikachu Libre is also a Pikachu, Pikachu Libre enjoys a very small synergy gauge. So I've done one phase shift, and that's that looks like 45% of my synergy gauge. I'll show it again for the people in the back. That's one phase shift. Okay, so if you're doing phase shifts over and over as Pikachu Libre, you're going to quickly fill your synergy gauge. And once your synergy gauge is filled, you can go into your synergy burst and just harass your opponent over and over and over. Stone cold. And eventually hit them with a burst attack. And if your opponent is still playing at this point, if they haven't disconnected by now, that'll be the end of the round for you. Okay, and that will end in your favor. All right, so we're gonna get into all of that. All right, first I'll start with her weak attacks. Okay, you got this. All right, that's it. This is it's got some average speed on it. Let's see, what's the nice thing to say about it? The nice thing to say is that it is a ranged attack. It's got some average speed. It's a very weak projectile, so your opponent will be able to get rid of this with with minimal effort. We're gonna use this. All right, your opponent will be able to get rid of it with minimal effort. All right, it's not a very strong projectile. This ain't Pikachu Libre's strong point. All right. That's not what we're trying to do. But if your opponent happens to be, nearby and you're in a position that maybe you can throw it out, It doesn't track. Or if it does track, its tracking is so minimal that you might as well not be there. But that's it. That's all this is. That's not the cool stuff, okay? Now, the start of the cool stuff is this. Her side weak attack. Her side weak attack is this. It covers some horizontal range. It's a little different from, I might be doing this a little bit. It's a little bit different from Pikachu's side weak attack. This Pikachu's travels a little slower. Regular Pikachu's travels faster, fires out 2. They cover less horizontal range, and they cover a much greater distance. Okay. In comparison, you have Pikachu Libre's here, who's a slower moving one, wider. Covers a shorter distance, so you don't want to use this at long range, otherwise you'll never hit your opponent. You also don't want to use this at close range, because at close range you'll realize, oh, this move has some startup to it. This is me pressing the button, and this is her actually jumping to do the move. Okay, so just look at the bottom right corner when I'm pressing the input and when she actually starts to do the attack. It's a slow attack, okay, but you want to do this at around mid-range. If you do this at mid-range, you'll be okay. You can do this twice, so you can press the directional input and the weak attack button and then press it again. She'll do it twice. If you mash the button, she will go into her forward weak attack. Okay, you can't change this up into any other attacks, I don't think. Let me see. No, yeah, you can't change that into any other attacks. Okay, you won't be committing to this very often. You'll really just use it as needed. Sometimes you'll do 1, sometimes you'll do 2. If your opponent was really putting himself out there, you'll be able to get down 3, but that's seldom happens, because usually your opponent will be able to block by the time that second one hits them, depending on how far or how close away they are. Let's see. Next is her back weak attack, which if you play Pikachu, you'll realize it looks similar to Pikachu's. There are some differences. Pikachu's is Pikachu's jumping weak attack. Pikachu has 2 versions of it. There's a weak version of it. There's a strong version of it. The strong one does more damage, covers more, clears out more projectiles than the weaker version of the move. It travels quickly, and it has some strong tracking. okay, if your opponent moves, you know, left and right. Pikachu Libre's, by comparison, is a slower moving projectile. It has weaker tracking. Okay, however, if it hits, your opponent is stunned. Okay, that's the major difference. If you happen to hit your opponent with this 3 times at all during field phase, the 3rd hit will force a knockback on your opponent. Okay, next is the, I guess, the forward attack. The forward attack is this. Okay, it's similar to Pikachu's back weak attack. Okay, it covers, let's see, it covers a lot of distance. I'll start from here. Okay, if we start from this spot right here, I use it. It covers this much distance. It covers a wide radius. It will eliminate projectiles once that electrical orb is out. Okay, this also puts Pikachu Libre in the air, so if your opponent has, you know, tried to hit you with a grounded projectile, you will sail right over it and hopefully hit your opponent. For comparison's sake, this is what Pikachu's looks like. Pikachu's is faster. Pikachu gets off the line faster, but Pikachu does not travel very far, and once he hits, he bounces back a little bit. Okay, so that's what the major differences are between the moves. Okay, that's what it looks like. It does cause a phase shift. Okay, let's see. Next is her aerial weak attacks. Her aerial weak attack, it's a straight. Just think of it as like a straight shot. Okay, when you do it, if you do it at the top of your jump, she fires off two projectiles. They have some nice distance on them. However, this is it's very bad to catch strafing opponents. You're not going to try to catch strafing opponents. That's not what you want. What you want is that if your opponent is stationary, or if your opponent basically that. If your opponent is stationary, or if your opponent is in shield, you can maybe fire out this. If you do it at the top, you're going to get 2 toward the top. If you maybe space it out a little bit, you can get 1 on the top and bottom. If you space it out like near landing, you can get just a single one out toward the ground to cover your landing, so that you maybe don't get hit if your opponent tries to, you know, dash at you and hit you from head on. If your opponent tries to strafe, this move will never hit. Okay, so keep that in mind. If your opponent is moving around a lot, side to side, you don't want to use this move because it will never hit, ever. Okay? Only once Pikachu stops moving did that move hit. Okay? Let's see. I believe that's it for her weak attacks. Okay? Back, forward, side, forward, jumping. Yep, that's it. Okay? Next is we can go into strong attacks. Strong attacks, very simple. She's only got 2 in field phase. She has her pursuit attack, and she has her her aerial strong attack. This is her pursuit attack. It is a 3-hit, 3-input attack. The 3rd hit puts her in the air. That's what it looks like. Just naturally, if you charge that last hit, that's what it looks like. Naturally, not on shield. If your opponent blocks, this is what it looks like on block. Okay, this is what it looks like. If you charge it, causes a shield break and causes a phase shift and gives you synergy. Okay. Next we can take that block off. The next thing is her aerial strong attack. Sorry if my voice sounds kind of weird. I'm a bit congested again. This is her aerial strong attack. You cannot cancel this. What she does is she spins towards her opponent and then does a jump kick, okay, for a phase shift. You cannot cancel this move once it starts. You have to commit to it. If you do this while very close to your opponent, I think it's just against the short characters. Oh, excuse me. Against the shorter characters, you're gonna overshoot them. If you do it at the top of a jump, not that. Let's see, how close do you have to be? Huh, maybe I was wrong. When I was trying this earlier online, I was overshooting my opponent. So it might just be like if you're just right on top of them, you know, like if they're on shield and you're like right on top of them, then you're going to overshoot them. But I guess in most cases, like if you're about this distance, you'll hit them. Okay. If you're against taller characters, I don't think you'll have any kind of problem of overshooting them. Okay, I think it's just a Pikachu Weavile kind of issue, you know, for the very short characters. But against the taller, you know, characters in the roster, you won't have any problem hitting them. You know, if somebody throws out a projectile, you can use this move, sail over them, and you'll be able to hit them before they, hopefully before they recover from whatever they hit you with. That's it for her strong attacks. Guess I could talk about her special attacks. Double team? Sure, I'll talk about double team. You tap the special button. This is double team. You can do some things out of double team. If you tap the button and then tap it again, she'll go into quick attack. Okay. Double team will allow her to evade projectiles. Let's go to slot 3. Actually, I think I already showed that, so I can just slot 1, turn that off, command input relay. There you go. So if you use double team, you'll be able to evade projectiles. What your goal is here is to evade projectiles and use that quick attack kick. That quick attack will get rid of some projectiles. Okay, in addition to double team, making you quite intangible for quite a long period of time. Let's see. If you tap the button, tap it again, you get quick attack. If you tap the button and then hold the R button, you can cancel out and go into a shield. Note that she has to hop out, and hopping out of the double team puts her, you know, she's open during that period of time before she puts out her shield. Okay, you can do double team and then press the weak attack button for her standard attack. Yeah, it's a little bit, you can get more involved with it if you do it in field phase. I mean, if you do it in dual phase as opposed to in field phase. But that's what it looks like if you do double team into a weak attack. If you do double team into an X button, into the strong attack button, you can go into the pursuit attack outside. So you can, let's see. You can avoid the projectile and go into the pursuit attack like that. Or you can maybe, you know, avoid it and go into your weak attack and possibly get a phase switch. I forgot to show that. Is that if you mash the button, on her weak attack, you can go into her forward special attack. Actually, I think you can. Yeah, you can combo her weak attack, her standard weak attack into any of her special attacks. Okay, so you can cancel it into double team or cancel it into those other specials, which I will explain in a moment. Okay, you can also, with double team, you can tap the button and then press the jump button. You can jump out of it. You can jump in any direction that you want. Okay, you can jump to the right, to the left. You can jump forward. You can jump backward. Let's see. If you press a direction and double team, so if you press left and then the button, or right and then the button, you will notice how she has how she sets out 3 copies of herself. If you press a direction, I press to the left, she moves to the left clone. Okay, I'll press to the right. Whoops, not that. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing one too many inputs. That's to the left, and that's to the right. Okay, really simple stuff. Just input to the left when you do double team, or input to the right when you do double team. You can do all of the other stuff I just explained, even after a directional input. So you can move to the left and jump to the right, or move to the right and jump to the left. Move to the left, jump left, and so on and so forth. One thing that you might be interested in is that if you happen to be close to a wall, which I have to move Pikachu a little bit to the wall, and you use double team, you can kick to the side. Okay, you can use quick attack to the side. So if you use double team and then press the special attack button in a like directional to left or right, she will use quick attack to the left or to the right. It's kind of like a quick kind of like evasion deal. Like if you're too far to actually reach your opponent and you stand the risk of getting hit by another projectile, you can always just kick out of, not that, but you can always kick out into a different direction to hopefully avoid whatever other stuff your opponent is going to send out. And you'll still be a little bit intangible depending on what it is they send out. Like if it's beams, you're going to get hit by beams. But if it's not beams, usually you'll be able to avoid getting hit by whatever is getting put out. Okay, but if you're near a wall and you kick toward that wall and you hold the button down, okay, you will wall jump off of the wall and give yourself a defense buff that lasts for I think 4 seconds. Okay, so Once again, double team, kick toward the wall. You gotta make sure that you hold down the button. If you just tap the button, all she's gonna do is do just an empty kick into the wall, and that won't give you what you want. Okay, you have to hold down the button so that you can get that bounce. Okay, I'll talk more about that bounce later. For now, that's it for double team. Her forward special is, I believe this is discharge. Okay, yeah, I think it's called discharge. If you tap the button, you get a single projectile. If you hold down the button, if you long press the button, you get 3 projectiles that cover more vertical range. They also travel faster. Okay, of course, just remember that all of her special attacks give her the blue aura, which is part of that Pikachu Libre playstyle that you're gonna wanna internalize as you play this character. Okay, but single tap, you get that. Long press it, you'll get some farther moving, multiple projectiles. Okay, that do the same thing. Okay, it is a straight shot, so your opponent might be able to evade it. This is also I think this is a high projectile. I think it's classified as a high projectile. So if your opponent has any low profile moves, or if they're in duel phase and if they go into low stance, they will be able to avoid this move. They will be able to avoid this move in all versions of it. Okay, so you want to be mindful of that. You can use this move to close the gap if you need to. You do a better job of closing the gap if you charge it. Okay, it just depends on the situation, but you can use it to close the gap if you so desire. Her back, I'll talk about. No, actually, yeah, we're gonna talk about it now. Electro Web. That's this. Pokkén community hates this move. I'll explain. Well, I guess I'll have to explain now. This is an omni grab. It'll grab you on the ground. It will grab you in the air. Okay, if your opponent tries to jump, it will grab them out of the air. Okay, this is the range of the. I kind of did that kind of fast. I'm sorry. All right, that's what it looks like if they're in the air. Okay, I'll try to go a little bit slower so you guys can actually see what it is that I'm doing. Your range, you got to be about here. Okay, if you're about here, this is probably like the maximum range that it'll hit. I was wrong. So how about this? This is about the maximum range that it will hit. Okay, which means what you want to do is put them on the wall. And when you put them on the wall, they won't be able to escape. They have to crush it. Okay, they have to crush this move, otherwise they're going to get hit. They cannot counter it. It will get a critical hit. They cannot block it because they're going to get grabbed. If they attack, the attack counts as a crush. Okay. If they're in the air and they maybe go for a aerial attack, maybe they can crush it then. Okay. But if they don't do any of that, they're going to get hit by this move every time. When this move hits, what it does is it puts a speed debuff on the opponent. Okay. That's it. I think the speed debuff is at 4 seconds or 8 seconds. I think that's an 8-second debuff. Yeah. Okay. I think that's an 8-second speed debuff that your opponent gets hit with. Those speed debuffs, they also affect air mobility. So for characters that have air dashes like Braixen or Mewtwo or Shadow Mewtwo, or I think Blastoise has a air dash attack, it cuts the travel distance of those moves due to the speed debuff. Okay. If you use this as a phase shift, it will give her the electrical aura, the blue electrical aura. If you use this move when it's powered up, I'm trying to wait for that HP bar to fill. It does far more damage. It does far more damage. It confirms, it guarantees a phase shift. And, naturally, if you do a special move and cause a phase shift while this blue aura is up, you will give yourself a 4-second attack buff as well. Now, this move was hated previously because in duel phase, hitting somebody with blue electro web did not guarantee a phase shift. You used to be able to hit them with this. You used to be able to hit them with blue electro web and keep them in duel phase and keep hitting them with blue electro webs. Okay, that was patched out so that blue electro web would always cause a phase shift, no matter what. Okay, but I guess I'll try to talk about some combos and stuff that you could do. you're going to use Electro Web oftentimes as a finisher to just to place that buff. If you place that buff, that's a very powerful buff, the speed debuff. It will eliminate a lot of, you know, the threatening, you know, stuff that your opponents can do when they don't have the speed to actually chase you down. Let's see. What's next? Her aerial? No, I think I did. That's her back. That's her forward. She doesn't have any sides and field. She just has the aerial one. This one is Spark, I believe. This move is Spark. Notice how she flashes blue. She has counter frames when she uses this move. Of course, getting a phase shift with it will give her the electrical aura. The counter frames on this move are very active, I believe. So let me go to there, turn slot 1 off, slot 3 on, where we can record. Okay, so this is Pikachu using a very vertical attack. Alright, we'll use that. And then when we switch back over here to Pikachu Libre, command input relay. Very active counter frame. It starts as soon as you press the button, and if you see, those counter frames persist even on her way down from the attack. Okay, so you're gonna. This sucks to be the one fighting Pikachu Libre. It sucks to be the one fighting Pikachu Libre. That's what that does. Okay. However, this move, I think this move loses to like physical anti-air attacks. Okay, projectile stuff, you'll be able to hit your opponent through that. Okay, but physical stuff, I think let me see, I think if your opponent does physical attacks to knock you out of the air, Pikachu might not be the best character for this, because I know Pikachu gets knocked out of the air a lot of times when he tries to do that. Other characters that have grounded anti-air abilities probably be able to stop. Not that. There we go. Nope. So, I'll go and I'll take a look and see what other characters can actually knock Pikachu out of the air when she does that. Actually, that might just be just a general safe move. I know I've been hit out of the air when doing this move, but the exactly who did it and how escapes me. But for now, we'll keep going, and I'll just make little cuts here and there when I figure out what's what. I believe that is everything for her field face. That's everything for her field face. This is what her shield looks like. I think normally the speed type characters tend to have very weak shields, like very weak shield durability, so you can break her shield very quickly. She's not a character that you're going to be turtling with. This is her movement speed. Okay. It still escapes me as to whether or not she's faster on the ground than Pikachu is. Okay, I'll talk about the method to beat her, but this is her side dash, this is her right dash, this is her left dash, this is her back dash. It's okay, it doesn't really cover much distance. Her forward dash, I see a lot of players using the forward dash to cover ground, though honestly I think that her pursuit attack works just fine. Just use the pursuit attack and block. But that's what her forward dash looks like. These are her jumps. They don't cover a whole lot of distance, Those are forward jump, backward jump, side jumps. This is her counterattack. Now, her counterattack, I think she's got like the fastest counterattack in the game. Okay, I do believe she has the fastest counterattack in the game. She can start after another opponent counters and hit them before they do their deal. You don't want to underestimate how fast this counterattack is. She can cancel it very quickly. Okay, so you can quickly absorb hits and go in for a punish with this. It's a very good counterattack. This is the range on it for dual phase. It's like a horizontal kind of football, kind of American football tackle, or American, like a little headbutt that she does. Okay, I don't want to understate how fast this counterattack is. You're probably going to be getting hit and hitting people with that move a lot. Let's see. Next thing is her jump. She has a little jump input that she does. If you press the guard button while in the air, she does a little backflip. It doesn't look like much, but if you do this while on a wall, she will bounce off of the wall and give herself a defense buff. This means that you can also tie this in when you use quick attack out of double team. So if you double team, use quick attack and hold that button down during the quick attack, she will bounce off the wall. The bouncing off the wall from a quick attack still gives her all of her aerial options, including her little bounce back that she gets. Okay, so you can bounce off the wall twice. This is mainly like you won't see it often, but like if you happen to be fighting an opponent near the wall and you may decide to confuse them a little bit, you can double team, kick into a wall, bounce off the wall, and maybe cross them up and just get them confused, because when you do that, the camera is constantly shifting around back and forth to focus on getting both characters in that shot. Okay, so you can take advantage of that sometimes and maybe trip up your opponent and go for a phase shift, if I can do it right. Don't worry, I won't embarrass myself here. Well, something like that, If my opponent were taller, I'd have been able to land that hit, okay? But that's it for her field phase. Next, we can go into her duel phase, okay? Duel phase, these are her stances. Pikachu Libre is one of 2 characters in the game that can... Let me change that back to normal. Pikachu Libre is one of 2 characters in the game who can accelerate her support gauge. If you notice now, when she does her high stance, I guess like you can hear a little applause in the background. This also accelerates her support charge. Okay, she's one of 2 characters in the game who can do it. The only other character who can do it is Braixen. Braixen is much more adept at it, but Braixen is a character designed specifically for you to use supports with. Okay, and Pikachu Libre is not. But Pikachu Libre does have that honor. That's her low stance. She does like a little taunting, I guess, call out to her opponent. That's all it does. It's just meant to annoy your opponent. Let's see. This is her horizontal movement in Duel. Average, she's got Pikachu movement, very average. I think she has the same movement speed as Pikachu in both phases. If you want to beat Pikachu Libre, sure, I'll talk about that now. If you want to beat Pikachu Libre, play Keep Away. Okay. Pikachu Libre can really only beat you if you're actively trying to fight her back. Okay. If you play passively, throw out some projectiles here and there, and like let her come to you, it may give her a much harder time against higher level opponents. That's what they're going to be doing. Nobody's trying to actually oppose Pikachu Libre directly. No, like you throw stuff at her and make her come to you, and then depending on how she comes at you, you knock her back. You want to repel Pikachu Libre. You don't want to directly oppose Pikachu Libre. If you directly oppose Pikachu Libre, you're gonna lose. Okay, and then she's gonna get phase shifts, and she's gonna stack her gauge, and then she's gonna get her synergy burst, and then she's gonna hit you with the burst attack, and that's not what you want. Okay, so you want to play Pikachu against Pikachu Libre kind of passively. If you have projectiles, that's very good. Another thing, well, I guess because the other thing with Pikachu Libre, I guess not really a problem, but one thing that you'll notice with Pikachu Libre is that she does not have any or many poking abilities. I think like this is only the really big poking move that she has. Okay, and that's because it does a lot. It gives a lot. It's a very safe move. Okay, none of the moves that she really uses, she can she can't do this and then do it again. Okay, that's not a poke. Okay, she can't just throw that out. Let's see, what moves does she have that have reach? The only moves that she really has that have reach are discharge. That's it, which can be ducked, and then her low stance weak attack here, which is only really threatening if she's on top of you. If she's on top of you, that's it. But once she hits you with it, she has to like commit to something. Otherwise, she'll waste it. I mean, of course, if her back is to the wall and she uses it, you can use that and get out of a corner. But as far as poking, like that's about it. That's all she's got. Mainly, Pikachu Libre is like a lot of fake out. You can fake out your abilities. Oh, that's right. I forgot to explain. Well, I'll talk about that now. Her forward special attack, which is discharge, you can cancel this. Okay, you can cancel both versions of it. You can cancel the charged version of it, You can cancel the tap version of it, and you can cancel it at any point during the move. It's not like you have to do it during the startup of the animation. You can cancel it at any time. So it's stuff like that, you know, canceling your moves, confusing your opponent with double team. Let's see, what am I doing? Yeah, like that, like confusing your opponent through double team, confusing your opponent through canceling discharge, the occasional kick with low stance, weak attack, or her 2Y. That's about it for. I mean, that's not really poking, you know, but 2Y is the poke. Discharge, I guess you could use it as a poke. Primarily, Pikachu Libre is feinting, you know, feinting on your opponent until you get in this range. And once you're in this range, you can use all of the ugly Pikachu Libre stuff that she can do, okay? But yeah, if you're trying to fight against Pikachu Libre, try to play keep away with her, because she's gonna have to make her way to you. She's got average Pikachu movement, okay? You've already seen her projectiles are not the best, okay? Especially not at long range. They're not doing anything at long range. Even her forward Y attack. Her forward Y attack is mid-range, okay? Mid-range offenses is what she's doing, all right? We'll talk about dual phase attacks now, okay? Man, I'm seeing how long this video is. I might have to shorten it. Let's see. This is her Y attack string. What I did there was I hit the just frame on it. So if you mash it, I'm sorry, I'm not mashing it. There you go. If you mash it, that's what it looks like. Okay. You can combo this into any of her special attacks. Okay. You can cancel that into discharge. You can cancel that into all of her other stuff. I'll explain what that ability was. But that's that. If you time it, if you stagger the attack, oh, not that. You can turn it blue, and if you turn it blue, you knock your opponent into the air a little bit, and that, I think that does that do more damage? What is that? 56 and okay, so it does do more damage and knocks them into the air a little bit. That's it. It just does more damage, and you'll be able to chain that into well, once they're in the air, you'll be able to chain that into Electro Web, okay, which then allows you to apply that speed debuff and, you know, hit them with whatever else you want to hit them with. That's kind of like what, well, I mean, that's what I like to use it for, but you can use it for any of her other attacks if you so choose. It's just that Electro Web is what I find it to be the most useful follow-up, you know, out of that specific string. Okay, if you time it right, you can turn it blue. If you mash it, it'll look like that. If you time it, it'll look blue. Okay. Her low stance weak attack, I've shown this before. This is a little kick. It's a very safe move. I think, is it safe on shield? Not so much on shield. All right, not so much on shield. Your opponent hardly moves back. But if your opponent is not blocking, it's a very safe move to get them off of you. Okay, you can do that and then put your shield back up. I don't think Pikachu Libre really has any problem getting out of the corner. Okay, that's all it does. You can combo this into her specials. Okay, you can combo that into any of her specials. I think you can't combo it into Electro Web. Not normally. Like, they have to be countering or something for you to be able to hit them into Electro Web. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that also combos into that. Okay, that's Flying Press, I believe. But that's what her low stance weak attack does. She has no back weak attack. Her back weak attack is the same as her neutral weak attack. Her forward weak attack is it's like she kind of crosses her arms and slaps you with her. Is that her tail or her feet? I think it's both. It might be her tail or it might be her feet. But usually this is what you use. This is what you use after a combo. Like if you juggle your opponent. Let me see. What is it? Low stance into Electro Web, I think. Oh. There you go. That's a combo that you could do, and that doesn't even cause a phase shift either. All right, but yeah, you usually use this as like a combo ender. It puts her in the air, so if your opponent uses like a low attack or if they use a grounded projectile, you can You can get over that with this. If you tap the button, she goes into her, what is this? Her high special attack, which is flying press. Okay. I think that's it. That's the only, not only, but you know, that's what you can use that for. Her high stance weak attack. It's a headbutt. I think. Yeah, it's a headbutt. You can combo this with her. You can combo that into her aerial weak attack. Her aerial weak attack is similar to Pikachu's weak attack. Differences are that Pikachu's weak attack is it's like a smaller ball that Pikachu puts out, and it's lower to the ground, so it's more suited. I mean, they're both good for jump-ins, but Pikachu's is really suited for jump-ins, and it's a smaller ball. Okay, so it would technically, I guess in theory, be easier to hit Pikachu out of this attack than it would be to hit Pikachu Libre, because Pikachu Libre's attack is closer to her, and her ball is like, looks maybe, if not the same size as her, maybe a little bit bigger than her. Okay, but she puts out a ball horizontal to her body. Okay, it's a much bigger ball. Okay, so it'll cover more range. All right, but that's pretty much it. You can use it as an effective jump-in attack. Let's see. Like I said, her high stance weak attack, you can use that. You can combo that into her aerial weak attack. You can also combo this into her aerial special attack, which is Spark. Okay. You can also combo that into her aerial strong attack. So you can combo her high stance weak attack into any of her aerials. Okay. I think you can also do this and then press the shield button and do a flip back. Oh, that's right. I should also talk about the flip. If Pikachu has a blue aura active and she jumps and holds the shield button, she would do a double bounce. The double bounce covers far more distance, and it acts. I think she puts out like a little ball of electricity behind her, and she bounces off of that. This means that you don't require a wall. You don't require a wall to bounce off of. Okay, like normally under normal circumstances, she would need a wall to bounce off of to get that wall bounce. Okay, but if you have the blue aura, she can do that, you know, herself, and she can, you know, go into any of her aerials after she does that wall bounce as well. Back to her weak attacks. I think that's everything for her weak attacks. Next is her strong attacks. Okay, this is her standing strong attack. Okay, it covers, just like notice the direction of it. It can catch some jumping opponents. Some airborne opponents, it can catch them if they try to jump in on you, because it puts her in a little low profile before she does it. Let's see, what's the range on it? She got to be about this close to them in order to hit them with it. Once again, it's like the iron sand kind of thing. She electrifies the ground, kicks up the ground, and electrifies it so that it solidifies. That kind of science kind of stuff. This is what you use to, I guess, continue combos. Yeah, so I think you saw me earlier use this is her forward strong attack. And you would, you know, follow up with that neutral strong attack, or if they were in the air, you know, you could catch them with this, and then once you catch them with that, you can go into whatever your normal combos, whatever your normal juggles are, because usually once you catch an opponent with this, you'll be able to continue on and maybe go for a phase switch, that kind of deal. But that's what it does. It can catch jump-ins. It's pretty close range. Okay. It's, you know, just meant to continue your combo, you know. Pikachu Libre does not have very good pokes, but that does not mean that she has a bad neutral. Okay, she does have a very good neutral. Let's see, low stance. Her low stance is a sweep kick. It's pretty fast. It's fast and it covers a lot of ground. Okay, like look how far I'm standing, and then I'm doing that move. How far can I get? So about here. Okay, you can do it twice, so you press the button and you press the button again, and that she puts herself airborne, gets a knockdown on them. This is what you can use to plaster your opponents onto a wall if you so choose. As to what moves you do, just do something simple like that, you know. Apply that speed debuff and then keep going with whatever you want. But you know, it's a very low profile move, very good for avoiding high attacks, very good for you know, stopping grabs if that's what you know, think is coming your way. Her other attack is I think that's it. Her high strong attack is a jump kick. All right, it's a jump kick. This is all it does. If you tap the button again, so I did the just frame on that. I didn't mean to do that. If you tap it, it's because I've spent so much time playing Pikachu Libre online. I've kind of internalized getting the just frames on her attacks. If you mash the button, this is what it does. It gives her a 4-second electrical aura. Okay, gives her a 4-second electrical aura. Doing the full string causes a knockdown, which leaves you free to get the buff, and then you want to figure out something quick before you lose that aura. Okay, so you get the boosted electro web off, get that phase switch, get your 10-second electrical buff, electrical aura, get your 4-second attack buff, get your synergy gauge fill, apply that speed debuff, keep the party going. Okay, if you mash it, it looks like this. It looks like 74 damage. If you get the just frame, if you do the move, she does. Notice how she says Pika. Okay, if you hit him like with the basic follow-up, she does Pika and I think Kachu. Okay, so notice how she says Pika and then Kachu. Right. If you hit the just frame, she goes Pika and then I think Pika. You know, so Pika. You know, that kind of deal. So she says Pika twice. Also, when you get the just frame, you notice that when she's in the air, she will not that. There you go. She electrifies herself before she lands. It just causes, I think it does 20 more damage if you hit the just frame than if you don't. That's what it does. It's primarily to get yourself the 4-second electrified buff, you know, and then you know, try to get that phase switch as fast as you can while that buff is active. Let's see. No, this. I think this might be a Tekken move. I might be wrong, but it's a punch and then an uppercut. That looks like a Tekken move. Okay. I think that second hit. I might be wrong, but I think that second hit might be vertically. That might be a vertical hitbox. Okay, but typically this is what you use to start combos. All right. You can do it twice, I think. I forget what the follow-ups are immediately. Can't remember. The follow-up attack, the window for the follow-up punch after the first hit, it's a very slim window. There's no time to actually stagger it. You have to commit to it if you want that second hit. This is her Joker launcher. You can use this to go into any manner of different combos you want. This will also stick your opponent on the wall and let you do whatever it is that you want to do. From there, that's it. Let's see. High strong. Yeah, we talked about that. Talked about that. Talked about that. And that. And that. Okay, that's it. Her aerial strong attack is a dive kick. Okay. It's a very fast one. It's a fast move. Covers horizontal distance. That's it. That's a dive kick. Once you land the dive kick, you can go into whatever other, you know, attacks that you want to go into. I think that's it. Next is her special attacks. Okay. As usual, I think I've gone over them before. Oh, that's right. Double team acts a little bit differently. You can do everything in double team. Well, this is what it looks like when you do it. If you tap the button, she goes into quick attack. If you tap the button and press the Y attack, that will let her go into the first hit of her Y string, which you can, you know, do whatever you want to go from there. You can also go into her strong attack and, you know, go from there. You can also cancel into a shield. She does move forward when she does it, so that's probably the least useful option that you might want to roll with, unless you did it from a long distance and they threw out another projectile, then maybe, you know, that'll have its use. Okay. I think the other deal is the jumps. If you jump, she will jump straight up out of the middle clone. If you jump toward your opponent, she would jump from the back. She would jump from the rearmost clone. Okay. If you jump away from your opponent, she would jump from the frontmost clone. Okay. So this is me jumping neutral. Can I split these? Thank you. This is me jumping neutral. She jumps from the middle. Jumping toward my opponent, she jumps from the rear clone. And that's the rear clone. Jumping away, she jumps from the frontmost clone. So keep that in mind. So if you like, you know, oh, I jumped, you know, and keep in mind that you're jumping like from here and not from here like you think you are. Okay. You can also input. What, can you input directions? No, you can't. You can't. It's a field phase thing. In field phase, you can choose what direction. You can choose which clone you're gonna reappear from. In dual phase, you cannot. Okay. That's it for that. For her forward special attack is once again it's her discharge. It's a high projectile, so your opponents can duck it. He's got. That's what it looks like. Tapped. That's what it looks like with a long press. We've seen that before. I'll show what all of her blue aura moves look like as well. Her back special is Electro Web. Once again, it's about the range you got to be at to hit your opponent with it. It's extremely useful. Like this is the Pikachu Libre move. Okay, like you don't play Pikachu Libre and don't use Electro Web. Okay, if you land it without the blue aura, you just land the speed debuff. If you land it with the blue electrified aura, you do even more damage and, you know, refresh that speed debuff. Okay. Let's see. Her high special attack is Flying Press. It doesn't fly up as high in the air as you would think for a move called Flying Press, but it's a flip attack. It's fast off the line. Okay. It puts her in the air so she can avoid grounded attacks. Some grounded attacks. This is mainly, like, I use it to catch people by surprise. You know, it doesn't travel very far. You know, not very far at all. But that's, you know, that's pretty much what it does until I find like a different use for it. I'm just gonna put a bookmark on that and say, you know, that's what it does. You can use it for surprise attacks. You know, her low special is, what is that? Wild Charge. I do believe that's Wild Charge. That's Wild Charge into Stone Cold Stunner. Alright, very flashy. This is a command counter. Okay. This move, if you land it, it always causes a phase switch, a phase shift. If you do it on shield, you will get punished. Always. Okay. Like, look at all that recovery. Okay. You're going to get grabbed if you do it on a shield. Kind of like the same thing for Spark. Okay, Spark. If your opponent has if your opponent thinks to grab you after Spark, they're gonna grab you after Spark when you land, and you're going to get hit. Okay. On that note, we'll talk about Spark. Spark once again is her aerial special attack. It's very active counter frames. You know, your opponent puts out a projectile in the air. You can use Spark to get out of it or to just ignore it. If your opponent is in the air and tries to hit you from the air, you can probably use Spark to ignore that attack as well. I believe that's it. In dual phase, she can also bounce off of walls by jumping and holding the shield button against a wall to get that backflip, and she will bounce off of the wall. Let's see. I do think that's it. You know, Pikachu Libre is what I recommend Pikachu Libre for new players. Like, there's not many characters I wouldn't recommend for new players. Like, a lot of people specifically do not recommend playing Gengar for new players. But if that was the case, then we wouldn't have had, you know, people playing Gengar in 2016 when the game came out, you know. So I won't not recommend you play Pikachu Libre. I'll just say that Pikachu Libre is a different kind of ball game from Pikachu, and you need to understand what her game plan is, and understand how to corral your opponents into certain situations to get them to go where you want them to go, so that you, and you know, recognize when you can go for, you know, an attack. Okay, like recognize when you can go for wild charge. Don't waste your time trying to play neutral with your opponent. If you can go for a wild charge, get the phase shift, get the blue aura, get the synergy, you know, she gets very, like, a lot of advantages off of causing phase shifts through his special. So that's what you should be focusing on whenever possible. Okay, at some point though, you're going to have to you know, learn how to negotiate through a fight with melee. Okay, it's just, there's a method to Pikachu Libre's madness. Okay, there's a method to her madness, but there's so much madness that you oftentimes don't have to resort to a method. Okay, if that makes sense. She's got so much stuff going, so much crazy stuff going on with her, that you don't have to play fairly. Okay, the last thing, I know I'm forgetting something. I am. Her blue aura moves. Alright, excuse the weird cut. I was in the middle of editing this video and I saw that I was taking way too long to explain the enhanced versions of Pikachu Libre's moves. So let's see, when you go and have an enhanced aura, it powers up all of her moves. All of her moves do something different. Let's see, I will start with her forward with her forward A. Her forward A adds a little bit of stun to it. Okay, adds a little bit of stun to it. The charged version of it adds a lot of stun to it. Okay, next I'll talk about the most obvious one, which is Electro Web, which actually has just a different look to it altogether. That's the most obvious appearance to it. Is that it, you know, does a lot more damage, and it, you know, it's just a longer animation. The next one is let's see, Spark. I honestly don't see much of a difference with Spark. Okay, however, Flying Press. Okay, Flying Press adds a lot of stun. Okay, which means you're able to chain that into more Flying Presses. And honestly, like after about 2 Flying Presses, it's pretty much a phase shift. Let's see. The other one is what? Wild Charge. Wild Charge. I don't really see much of a change with Wild Charge. Let's see. We got the Blue Aura. We got Wild Charge. I don't see much of an animation, kind of not much of a technical change. I think it's really just damage. Also, when you in field phase, when you use your side Y attack, if you hold down the button, you'll be able to automatically go into her little wall jump animation, except you can do it from the ground. Okay, let's see, I should do it from duel into field, so you can do it after the first side Y or side weak attack. You can do it after the second one as well. So let's see, this is me doing it after the first one. Oops, that's the first one, and that's the second one. Let's see, if you just hold the button, she'll jump into the air. If you hold the button and aim forward, she'll kind of like lunge forward towards her opponent. I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so this is me lunging toward the opponent. Okay, and this is me just doing the actual jump. Okay, so this is the actual jump, and this is lunging toward my opponent. Okay, this means that she's good with mobility. You know, just adds to her mobility. Just some things to keep in mind. I think next I'll just talk about the just the burst attack at this point. From here, I will go into permanent synergy burst. Let's see, permanent synergy burst. She gives the permanent electrical blue aura, so she has the powered up versions of all of her moves. Also keep in mind that when she has her blue aura, if you just do her regular wall bounce and hold down the button, she will get the easy wall bounce from there. All that's left to show you is the burst attack, which I think I've shown a few times earlier in the guide. And that's it. Alright, I'll go back to the rest of the recording. I think that's it. Because Pikachu Libre is a Pikachu, you'll be able to probably get synergy burst twice per round. If you play well enough, you should be able to easily get Synergy Burst twice per round. I do believe that is it. It's a harder character. I guess for me specifically, it's a harder character for me to play than Pikachu. There's some more thought that goes into using Pikachu Libre. Like Pikachu, I know that if I play neutral with Pikachu, I can do pretty well. Okay, Pikachu Libre, if I play neutral, there's going to be a lot of this. There's a lot of this, wait and see, hanging back, jumping to avoid stuff. Okay, now I'm in their face. What do I do? You know? And that's kind of the stage that I'm at with Pikachu Libre, is that I know how to push the attack. It's just that once I'm in a spot that I can actually melee, I'm like, oh yeah, what are my melee options again? So that's kind of like the stage where I'm at with Pikachu Libre. With regular Pikachu, I know what I'm doing with regular Pikachu at this point. You know, Libre needs more practice. You know, I'm not a Libre main. I need more practice with the character. But hopefully I've explained everything about this character in this guide. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to call it here. Alright. I'll be doing some more guides with some other characters. I'm working on multiple characters at the same time. I'm just playing them online, internalizing what it is they do. That's been it for this guide. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you all in the near future with some more guides. Hope you guys enjoy the game, and I will see you all later. Yep, see you guys later. Bye-bye.